So look who's back on her feet again.
Barely, but I'm on my feet. Boulevard.
So after about, week and a half, I guess
10 days.
10 days after surgery, Miss Cricket is back on her feet. Not only back on her feet, but feeling good enough that we are actually on our way. We are taking a ride to Epcot.
We're going to see the fireworks.
The brand new fireworks. And we'll tell you more about that when we get there. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit, bye.
Welcome to the Pepper Austin channel.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Epcot is undergoing a 5-year makeover and renovation. And there have been a lot of changes and a lot of new things in the park. The main one, can you hold that for me? The main one being that on September 30th, they had the last Illuminations fireworks shows, which actually ran here for 19, almost 20 years. And they had the last one, and on the 1st, October 1st, they started the new Epcot show, which is called Epcot Forever, and we're here to watch that tonight. Epcot Forever is only going to be for a short period though, because sometime in 2020 they will start the new fireworks show that will ultimately take the place of Illumination, and that one is called Harmonious.
Harmonia.
Yeah. So Harmonious is not ready yet. But for right now, we will see the Epcot Forever show. A couple of new things also are the new Epcot colors, which you might have seen behind us as we walked in. These are the new Epcot colors. You can see them on the plywood there. Cricket, just coming out of surgery, is not going to be able to spend a lot of time walking around, so we intend to cut across to the friendship boats, which we're going to take across to the International Gate. We're going to jump onto the Skyliner, and then after the Skyliner, we're going to hop back on the friendship boat over to the Boardwalk.
And which is where we will find our fireworks show.
No, the fireworks will be back here.
Oh. And then we'll be back for the fireworks show.
Then we'll be back for the fireworks show. Get some ice cream on the Boardwalk.
Yes.
So for right now, we're going to head in. Going to work our way to the edge of the World Showcase, and we're going to find our way onto the friendship boat. But if we happen to pass the donut box, might be a good idea to check it out. Let's get on the friendship boat. Skyliner, first time. It just opened about less than 2 weeks ago. We have a very loud captain and a very loud crowd. Hope you can hear us. There it is, the Disney Skyliner. We're about to get on. Yeah, they're pretty big. Any of your first impressions on the Disney Skyliner?
They're big.
Pretty big. We're about to get on. There they are. There's no line at all. We really walked right up here, and the park is pretty crowded. So that's a good thing. And it seems like this line, they probably can keep the flow moving here pretty well. Remain seated. So we wound up getting a wrapped car, and from my understanding is you don't see quite as well out of these wraps. Hey honey, you're gonna sit with me? You're gonna sit all the way over there.
Flights, please remain seated. Enjoy your flight.
Thank you. with the wrap, we'll have to see how well we can see out. Oh, here we go. So when I was a kid growing up I grew up in the Bronx, and my mother worked in the Bronx Zoo for about 25 years. So the Bronx Zoo used to have something called the Sky Ride, and it was exactly like this. It was a gondola, but it was much, much smaller than this. Think of this on a much smaller scale. And as a kid, I kind of grew up on the Sky Ride. So this is like a much bigger version of the Sky Ride that I grew up with. The cars are bigger. Nice airflow through here.
Oh yeah.
But I would imagine on a 100-degree day, it'd probably be pretty warm in here, at least when you're not moving. My understanding is that the ride is prone to stopping. But as for right now, we are buzzing right along. Nice view up here. Let me see if I can... We're also filming on the other camera, so that might give you some better views. In fact, the wrap really kind of ruins it.
Yeah. If you're definitely recording, the wrap is not the best thing for you.
Yeah, when we transfer cars, we're going to try to get into an unwrapped car.
Yeah.
So that we can get some better video. There were no lines at all. I mean, we basically walked right up onto it.
We are now approaching the Skyliner turn station. While this special station was designed just for turning, other
Beautiful
Skyliner
breeze up here.
stations were designed to complement their unique environments. From the glamour of Disney's Hollywood studios to the laid-back islands of Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort.
And I've seen so many vloggers talk about their fear of the height. This really is not scary, I'm sorry. If you're afraid of this, I guess you never get onto an airplane. I mean, it's a little bumpy and it rocks a bit. The wind is blowing them back and forth. These things are secure. Disney is not that stupid.
Like a ride. It's a ride. It's nice. It's very nice.
It's transportation, but it is a ride. And you know what? If the thing does fall, as long as it lands on something soft, I wouldn't mind being a Disney shareholder. Here we go.
Whee!
So that was the turn station. I guess that's just...
Now we're going to that resort.
Now we're off to one of the resorts. We're just going to take this as far as we can go. We may transfer to take the leg that goes into Hollywood Studios, but we haven't made a decision on that yet. We might do that on the way back. But it is very pretty. And I would say this is nicer than being on a bus. Now the only thing about this is my understanding is
It takes longer.
they do sometimes double you up. So if it's very crowded, they may put you in here with people you don't know. You know, they might put 6 people in here. I guess this would hold 8.
This is really cool. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really, really enjoying this.
A giant transfer station. This line going to Epcot, this one going to Hollywood Studios, and this one going to the Art of Animation and Pop Century Resort. That's how they load people in wheelchairs. They take the car off the line, they load the ECVs, and then they put the cars back into the line. Pretty cool how they do that. But we are on the hunt for ice cream. I know just where to find it. So this is the service counter pizza area. Next door to that is the Boardwalk Bakery. Here is the world famous Joe's Margaritas. Boardwalk Joe's Marvelous Margaritas. And of course the Boardwalk Bakery. And right next to it is Ample Hills, the creamery. And that's where we're going to get some ice cream. Here we go, Ample Hills. Let's find something ample.
Ample.
That, friends, is the
Butter pecan brittle.
butter pecan brittle ice cream from Ample Hills. And as you can see, we'll be splitting that, right, honey? She's not happy about that. She doesn't want to share. She has that I don't want to share face. And we're sitting right by ESPN Club bar. So we can watch the Yankee game while we're eating. Here we go, honey. Let's dig in.
Okay.
And we opted for the warm cinnamon roll. Let me see a warm cinnamon roll eating face. There it is. Warm cinnamon roll eating face. So how would you rate the cinnamon roll?
So the cinnamon roll that we got here at the Boardwalk Bakery was very hard on the outside and on the bottom. It was very minimal, moist softness in the center.
So you think it was stale?
It was stale.
So what would you rate
it was warm, but it was stale. I rated it a 5. It was
Wow.
still good, but it was hard.
So it could have been a lot better.
Oh yeah, lots better.
And what about the butter pecan ice cream?
The butter pecan ice cream had pecans and brittle. It was actually butter pecan with brittle, and it was very good. Was not my first choice, but it was very good, and I give it an 8.
An 8. So
Not
you-
enough brittle.
So more butter pecan, less soft cinnamon roll.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect here. Kids, don't worry, I've done it before. Twice. Okay, now when I'm safely balanced, yeah, tone it down just a little bit. Yeah, we are not playing Angry Birds over here. We need to be very, very careful. Yeah, here's the last one. It's the same spot right here, okay? Oh, big round of applause for our Yankees. That was
Okay, so we are at the fireworks. What do you got to say about that?
We are waiting for Epcot Forever to begin. We got about
30 minutes?
yeah, maybe 30-40 minutes before the show starts. People are having fun. Hey guys, so it's almost midnight and we just got home. Long ride home. A lot of traffic getting out of the park when you stay for all of the fireworks, but about 11:45 for home. Just want to give some final thoughts on the night. Great night over at Epcot. So the Skyliner, as we mentioned, we liked it a lot. It's a great alternative to some of the other modes of transportation like the bus and the monorail. Really, it's very relaxing, and we were on it at a great time as the sun was setting, so we had fun with that. Our only complaint is that we feel that they should not herd people into the cars with strangers when there are no lines. When we were getting back to Epcot, the lines were starting to form with people going back to the resort, and there were long lines, and I could certainly understand when there's long lines to put strangers together.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and the thing I liked about them is the fact that you'd think even on a hot day it wouldn't be cool up there, but it shoots you up almost and brings that breeze in.
Yeah, the windows are kind of designed to catch the air.
Catch the air and bring it into the cabin, so that was very nice.
Yeah, so it's nice and cool. It's not as, I would imagine on a really hot, humid day, it's probably uncomfortable. But the reality is you're not on any one leg for any extended length of time.
No.
So all in all, aside from them hurting the people, and another thing I believe that they should allow you to do is stay on the car, because you do have to transfer at every station.
Right, except for the turnabout and the, there was one more that you were able to go stay on.
One of the
at the Hollywood Studios area. You're allowed to stay on the roundabout. They ask you, do you know where you're going? And you say, yeah. And then you just stay on.
I don't think it was Hollywood Studios. I think it was the one before Epcot. So it makes a stop at one of the resorts right before Epcot. And you do have the option of getting off for the resorts or staying on and continue on to Epcot. So I think they should give you the option to stay on the car. We were trying to work hard to get the cars that weren't wrapped, because the wrapped cars are hard to film through.
Right, and then we finally got into some that were not wrapped, and that happened to us twice, that we were by ourselves, but other times we had somebody in there with us.
Yeah. So aside from that, though, we really did like it. It's new, it's you know,
comfy,
and it's really well designed. It moves people very efficiently. The lines, even when the lines seem long, it's almost like the Harry Potter ride at Universal, where it moves constantly. In other words, the line never really sits still. The cars are in continual motion. People just step onto the cars and the cars shoot up.
And they are bigger than we expected. You can sit 5 people on either side.
I'm not sure what the max is. Probably 8. I think at one point we had almost 8 people in one of the cars. And it was essentially 3 groups of strangers. So minor complaint, but all in all, it's a great alternative to the bus.
Yeah, and if you are staying at one of the resorts that actually goes through, you talk about, you're saving yourself the stinky bus rides, the long bus rides.
Especially when you're tired, it's a good way to cap off the night.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you just kind of glide yourself right in there. There's one at the Caribbean Resort, there's one at, I don't remember
Pop
anymore.
Art.
Pop Art, that's the floating one.
We have to look at our notes.
Yeah.
And also, you know, it's very easy. Like everything was very well marked. It was very intuitive. We knew exactly where to go. When we got off at the main transfer hub, we knew exactly where to go to get to Hollywood Studios.
Right.
We just did that leg to see it. And that was that. So all in all, I would say the Skyliner for me, I would give that about an 8.5 out of 10.
I give it a 9.
Okay.
Because when you're coming in for a landing, you're coming in for a landing. It looks like you're gonna hit the car in front of you, but you don't. It's really cool. It's like a little bit of thrill on the gondola.
So what did you think of the Epcot Forever fireworks?
I loved it. I loved it. I held the camera, but I watched the show. So it was very nice. We were in a perfect spot. We had just as much of a view as these 5 boats had, and I know they paid what, maybe $800 just to sit in that spot.
I don't know, the boats that do the fishing.
We had a great one.
Yeah, the boats that do the fishing tours, I guess there was some kind of birthday party going on. So all the boats, we were by the bridge.
Right.
That goes, I guess, from France, just past Morocco, so that's France.
5 boats, and they were all 5 different groups of people.
Yeah, but I mean, we were in a good spot. Our view was good. I did not think it was Illuminations. I mean, Illuminations, even though I haven't seen Illuminations since 2001, but I think Illuminations was more impactful. But this is really a temporary thing. They're only doing this fireworks show until they get the Harmonious up and in place, which ultimately, as I've said, will take the place of Illuminations. But it was good. I did like it too. I mean, I think the technology is getting better, and the laser light and the coordination of the fireworks was really, you know, the fireworks are kind of low in Epcot. They don't shoot them like they do up in Magic Kingdom. But it was nice. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see how Harmonious will compare
to that one,
to the Epcot Forever. Mm-hmm. We did not get to the donut box. Wanted to do that. It was very crowded. Today is actually, according to the experts on such matters, today is one of the slowest days of the year for Disney. But it was actually very crowded coming in.
I think it's because it was the evening and people were coming into, I mean, you've got the pass holders who don't come in until after 5 sometimes. Some of their specific pass holders can't come to the park until after 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think that's what was coming in, getting on as many rides as they probably could, and then being able to watch the water display, the fireworks display. Because everybody left in one big rush, so. Yeah,
I mean, that's normal though. After the fireworks end, it's always a mass exodus.
Right.
But we wanted to check out the donut box, and a little, I cannot for the life of me remember the name, but I still can't. It's Cool Something, Cool Wave, Cool Breeze, Cool Something. But it's where you can kind of create your own slushie, and it's right next to the donut box.
We never found any of it.
We wanted to see those 2 things. Never did get to see it, but we didn't really look much. We were more focused because Cricket, this was her first day on her feet. First time she's walked since her surgery. So, you know, we were kind of trying to make the straightest beeline we could for the friendship boats to get over to the International Gateway. But all in all, you know, good night. Cricket did good. Mm-hmm. We are going back tomorrow. We have plans for tomorrow. We have some dinner plans in Disney Springs. So, yeah.
And I've never been to the Boardwalk, and I really enjoyed that, with the exception of my cinnamon roll. I didn't like my cinnamon roll. It was very hard on the outside, hard on the bottom. I'm sure I've told you that already. I was just so disappointed that the only mushy part was in the center, and that was it.
The ice cream was good.
The ice cream was good. I think we're gonna have to go find that somewhere.
Just not peppermint.
No, it was called butter pecan brittle.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. It was really
good. We got a small one. We split a small cup, so it was just enough that it wasn't filling.
Small cups. They're 2 scoops.
It's 2 scoops, so we each had a scoop.
Had plenty.
And yeah, the warm cinnamon bun was definitely a disappointment. We knew something was wrong because when we opened it up,
we couldn't put our fork in it.
We couldn't pull it apart. I went back in to look for a knife, and they didn't have knives. I was like, what's up with this roll? And finally we broke it apart with our hands, but the outside was definitely rubbery,
crunchy,
stale. The bottom was hard, and we were trying to, at first I was trying to figure out, is this by design or is this a stale bun? And I think the bun was stale.
It was not tasty.
And there's no excuse for that. I mean, honestly, date and timestamp these things and get rid of them when they get stale. I mean, you're paying good money. Nothing in Disney is cheap. Mm-mm. You know, that you shouldn't, and we could have brought it back. We could have walked back in with it, but we
something
just
different. But we just ate it because I was
it tastes
in the mood
good
for a cinnamon roll, and yeah, that middle part was amazing. It was soft and gooey and cinnamony and
the taste
yummy.
The taste was there. It's just that the consistency, it wasn't as soft as it should have
I've
been.
never had a crunchy cinnamon roll.
So guys, we will, I've got editing to do, and we will see you guys tomorrow when we go to, we're not going to tell you where, we'll actually make it a surprise, but we will see you tomorrow night at Disney Springs.
Disney Springs.
All right guys, have a good night.
Have a good night.
See you tomorrow.